Greetings and aloha, what's going on? It's Mike's from LiveMyAssOff.com, and I love when I find little places in Bangkok that I would say to myself, there's no way this looks like Bangkok. Now, I'm over here in an area, I'm heading towards an area that's called Pranakan. And, but right behind me, there's this river. Now, of course, there's rivers in Thailand, and there's rivers in Bangkok, right? I mean, they use it for transportation, and this, of course, historically, they're here. Believe it or not, that's like a drawbridge down there. There's like weights on this side, and then there's like this fulcrum, and they could, that was kind of crazy. I thought, oh yeah, that's kind of neat, whatever. But then I just started walking. I'm like, my God, this is like, it's a very different river experience than I've had, certainly in Bangkok. And so I thought, well, cool, I'll just like walk down here. And, you know, I mean, let's face it, I don't really make a lot of videos anymore, but this is one of these places that I definitely wanted to show my mom. And so therefore you guys are going to get the benefit of this as well. I'm meeting a friend at at a restaurant called Chef Bing, and we're going there specifically to sample the pizza. This is my friend Erick. His channel is Minority Nomad, and you may or may not have seen the interview that Dana and I did with him on the Bangkok Strange podcast. So anyway, so he pinged me and he's like, hey dude, you want to check out this new pizza place? And I think his buddy owns it. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, so Chef Bing is the name of the place, and that's where I'm on my way to. I've come from back there and a little bit to the left. I've come from the Sam Yot, MRT Sam Yot, S-A-M-Y-O-T is the phonetical spelling of it, MRT station. And Google said, well, it's about a 1.4 kilometer walk, and take you like 15 minutes. I'm like, well, that's cool. So I started walking down, the side streets that are down here, right? Just like, the back. And then I look forward and I'm like, well, wait a minute, because sometimes from the side streets there, see how it basically ramps up to go over the river here. And then these bridges. So you look down the street and you see this this little rise. And I'm like, wait a second, I've been near here before. This is an area, I came near this area actually to buy my Behringer mixer. It was one of the few places that had the device that I wanted that day. And I'm trying to remember the name of this river. And obviously I could look it up and stuff, but I didn't bother. But what I'm doing right now too is that I'm taking the long way. The much easier, shorter way would be if I were one more block that way, but still heading in the same direction. But I don't really have a need to be this kind of, well, so Klong is river, right? And so Kum Wan Dom is where I am. I believe I pronounced that incorrectly. And anyway, so they have these little bridges over the river here, and it goes a long way. And I thought, well, I am the hey, take the long way guy by choice. As of about 6 months ago, I decided, you know what, I'm going to take the long way. So I do that now when I go places. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for a fairly safe time for me to cross this road, even though there's green there and there's a green guy, but there's no cars coming that way, and I should be safe-ish, so therefore I am. Now this is a very new thing. I mean, you can tell the device is actually quite new, but it's crosswalks in Thailand are academically interesting, but they aren't necessarily adhered to. And quite frankly, I think that there's a lot to be said for crossing the street in heavy traffic without the need for lights, quite frankly. Now, it was easier for me to cross there. Otherwise, my goal was not to keep it on that side and to, walk along the river, basically. And I still may do that, because right now it's about, actually I just looked up, it's 2:15. My buddy Erick said his ETA is about 2:40, and I'm not quite sure how he's going there. I'm going to guess that he's probably in a Grab, because I am not necessarily the norm, which of course means walk outside at the hardest part of the day in Bangkok, upwards of 2 kilometers. So, but that's how I like to explore places and find, because I would have no idea there'd be a garage. I mean, this is awesome, right? Like guitars, bongos, in Thailand, right? It's a big city, so of course it has all of these things. But again, a lot of times when you think, think to yourself, oh yeah, Mike lives in Bangkok. I mean, I'm sure there's some of you that think I live, and I like take an elephant to work, you know, which is so far from the truth, it's not even funny. Yeah, there's literally everything here. So you can get everything. You can get anything and everything you need. Occasionally, the cost to do that is distractingly high. For example, if I were to buy, because I just tried to do this, if I were to buy a large container of basically Tums, you know, like antacids, that I brought with me here from when I purchased them at Walmart for $6.99. To get that here, it is, with the current exchange rate, $29. It is not an item that they have here, that they use here with the frequency that it's used at home, meaning it's like, well, let's go get a cheeseburger. Okay, well, that's fine. I can go get a cheeseburger because, of course, I travel with Tums, right? So, but anyway, yeah, absolutely everything you would ever want available in Bangkok. And okay, so this is, I didn't realize this, but this must be a very common place for clearly guitars. Is this like an Army Navy store? This is so cool. I had like no idea any of this was here. Now, the only downside to this, of course, is that I'm on my way somewhere, so I can't really stop and sort of window shop. But this is awesome, man. All of the uniform, and then again, here we are with guitars, right? When I was over in this area, and again by this area I mean like within about 5 kilometers, because I'm not exactly sure where I'm at. I was just walking down this street, and clearly it was sort of the like the flower section, right? So I don't know where that is. And this is, again, it's not necessarily just like an Army Navy store. It's just like it looks like a place where, you know, guys that like work in security or that sort of thing would also buy their stuff. So it seems like this row is basically musicians, guitarists / cop row. Interesting, right? I think it's just really cool. And yeah, guitar stores, one after another. Whereas the other place was like, you know, basically like the flower district. Although this goes on a lot longer than the flower district was. Now I'm doing a video, so obviously I'm by myself, but I'm not wearing a mask, and I was before I started doing this video, and I'm around people, so it's actually it's kind of bothering me that I'm not wearing one. Now there are some kids up here in front of me, and for sure they're not, or not for sure, but I'll tell you, they are not wearing them. And you know, so that guy's wearing one, he's on a mat, this guy's not wearing one, this woman's not wearing them, you know, so I don't feel like a complete lame-o. But anyway, it's I'm conscious of it, it's a little bit distracting. And then of course, as we all know, the best food in the entire world is made on the sidewalk in Thailand. Which of course, exactly why I'm going to meet a friend of mine and have pizza that will arguably cost easily 10 times what a very tasty meal would be back at that restaurant. But it's pizza. It's kind of interesting when I come by temples like this, because again, there's a part of me, because of this river, that is very confident I've been in this area before, but I don't believe I've been in front of this temple before. I was in an area where I was in front of a temple, but now up here, and again, I'm easily like 4 blocks west that I don't need to be, other than to, you know, explore and have this experience. But there's a big sort of circle that's coming up here, and So what I'm gonna do, because you can probably hear me if I wear this, but because it's really bothering me actually that I'm not wearing this. So I'm gonna do that. And then we'll turn the camera around and you guys can see what I see, and so therefore it won't be a big deal. And you won't have to look at my mask face. This is a common thing, actually. I mean, it's not like this is the only one of these in the city, meaning a roundabout with a statue in the center. One of the places that I go to catch buses to go to other parts of Bangkok is called Victory Monument, and as you might guess, there's a monument in the center. So, but up here what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a right. I have no idea where that, what this street is called. It looks like it says Troksake, T-R-O-K-S-A-K-E is the phonetical representation of it. But I'm also here, and so this is this river. So, but anyway, so that sort of concludes my ability to get to where I need to get to by walking down the river, living in a van down by the river. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double check Google Maps, and I believe I either go up here and I take a right, or I can just take a right here, and that'll kind of cut me through into where I need to go. So let me check that out. I'll be right back. Outstanding. I'm a 5-minute walk away, and the cool part is that I'm a 5-minute walk away along a river. So that's kind of cool, right? Now again, of course, these aren't, you know, this isn't the picturesque blue water that I'm used to in Koh Samui. That's just, you know, these are the rivers of Thailand. They're dirty, but still, I just, you know, I like it, right? So it's cool to walk down here. And apparently all I got to do is walk straight for 5 minutes, and I will be at Chef Big. So that's kind of cool. I do like the idea of walking places. I also, you know, really like the idea of, you know, feeling pretty darn safe in Bangkok. Now, I will say that this neighborhood that I'm in right now is a little bit rough, but ooh, that's nice. They got some amulets back there. I realized that my necklace, actually, the fabric is ripping, so I need to get a new necklace for my Buddha. And so next time I'm not supposed to be at a destination and I have a few minutes, I'll stop at a little place like that and I'll get myself a new necklace. But I believe I've had this one for about 5 years, maybe 6 years. So just kind of give you an idea of where I am. I don't know where I am, but this tells you where I am. Tanan Buranasat. So, and I think it's about, I'm gonna say 2 more blocks, and then I'll be at my pizza place, but not totally sure yet. And I actually don't know if it's sort of like just at street level or whether it's like in a big building or not. But again, I'll discover that when I get there. All part of the discovery process. Chicken source restaurant. Now, see, if I wasn't meeting someone for pizza, I would absolutely get some chicken over there. At the Smile House. So I'm gonna go with 1 more block, and that's a nice looking building over there. Steak, shabu, coffee, and ice cream. Now, I think it's going to be on the right-hand side, actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go Riverside here, and that will ideally get me there. Now, what happens a lot of times is I'll like meet somebody at a restaurant, and I'm always like there before they open. And that was potentially going to happen today, because I'm like, yeah, I'll meet you at like 11:30 or something like that, right? And then he said, no, I can't. I got another meeting. Oh, interesting. Oh, so there you go. Here's something that's interesting. I mean, obviously just out of the blue. New York pizza, a slice of New York, a slice of NYC. And since I'm here and I think I have a few minutes, although I did just hear my phone go off, so that indicates to me that someone has messaged me online. It could potentially be Eric. Let's see. Let me also double click on Google Maps. And I am literally, so yeah, so this is actually the place. New York pizza, slice of NYC, and then I see the sign over there that I'll show you briefly, which is Chef Bing. So yeah, so it's right here sort of at the end of this, and that's the place right there. New York style pizza, 2 slices of cheese pizza for 100 baht, and with toppings 2 for 150 baht. And I'm likely, usually the way that I test a place, I test a pizza place to see if they have good pizzas. I get pepperoni. So I'm gonna do that. So anyway, I'm where I'm supposed to be. Oh, and Eric says he's gonna be here closer to 3 o'clock. Okay, awesome. And he gave me one of these links that you get from the Grab app, which is like track my Grab. But it looks, I think he said his ETA is about 3 o'clock. It is 2:28 right now. So Comfy Bed Hostel is another place up there. Let's see what's down this way. Well, first of all, let's walk over to the restaurant so you can see exactly where I'm going to go. And this will also allow me a opportunity to basically take a selfie sort of thing, and then have a so there you go. This is where we're going, and Eric will be here shortly. So this is obviously Thai. I don't know whether that says Chef Bing or not, or whether it says basically the biggest sign you will see though is one's relative to New York City. So a slice of NYC, and I'm gonna walk around here so you can see some buildings. Pardon me. There we go. So you can see some sort of buildings / landmarks that might help you find it if you're walking around this way. Because while, you know, this is a very common sort of thing to see as far as a shop goes, right? That is not. And so that's a fairly large building. It actually kind of looks like one of those buildings that they have along the Chao Phraya, where they have like a market down at the bottom, and then sometimes restaurants and stuff at the top. And then all the way through to the back is where you would catch the ferries on the Chao Phraya. Looks like they actually charge for parking, which is sort of amazing. It's pretty rare. I've been places where they charge for parking. And for all I know, that's because something special is going on right now, i.e. 20 baht to park over there. I don't know that for a fact, but it's there's a silver shop, man. You see a ton of gold places. I honestly think that might be the first silver shop I've ever seen. So, but this is sort of what I think of, actually. This and like the BTS and Sukhumvit is sort of what I think about when I'm here in Bangkok and I think about Bangkok. Is you know, a lot of people and a bunch of, you know, umbrellas, right? And then people are like just sort of buying their goods, trading their goods. I like it. It's kind of cool. So I'm going to go up here. Ratchadaman Klang Road. Ratchadamnoen Klang Road is the best I can do right now. If Jib were here, or I was doing a live stream, I'm quite certain she could help me with the pronunciation. This is a pretty spectacular road. Look at that. I don't know what that statue is down there. I will Google it and find out what sort of significance it has. I'm quite certain it has something to do with government or royal family, which is always awesome. But this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-lane surface street on both sides. And then again down there you can see all the flags, and they have again the same sort of building, sort of a yellowish tint outside. That's the Bangkok City Library over there. How interesting. I didn't know that there was, I assume that there's more than one of those, but maybe not. If I have time later, maybe I'll cruise over to the Bangkok City Library. Although I'm pretty sure the majority of the books are gonna be in Thai. So I am illiterate. I wonder what it's like being illiterate going to a library, right? That'll be an interesting experience, actually. I mean, obviously I go in there and I would just look around, but being illiterate in a library, I mean, that's kind of like, it's like being alone in a crowd of people, right? Kind of thing. These are very common if you just saw the back side of that bike, meaning that the kickstands are not mounted more forward on the frame like is sort of common in the US. Sometimes they'll be mounted like on the back part of the back wheel, but also a lot of times there'll be those things that like literally cover the entire wheel, and it stands you don't lean up against it, you literally set the bike down on this sort of 90-degree flat thing. Oh, travel agency. I gotta tell you, I adore the driving habits of the people around here. Because yeah, there's traffic, and I'm sure people are in a hurry and they'd like to get to where they want to get to when they want to get there. But no one's honking. You know, no one's like screaming out the end of the window, oh, get out of my way, kind of thing. And you know, and some guy needs to pull out of the side of the road, and all the traffic stops. Some guy pulls out, he just does it slowly, he inches out there. And then when he's done, then the next guy moves on, and it's just, you know, it's just very appropriate as far as I'm concerned. There's less competition for the real estate on the road that I believe occurs in the United States, but also, you know what's interesting is this place reminds me a little bit of Barcelona, because maybe you saw it along the way, like this is not really a good example, but a lot of times in Barcelona at an intersection, the corners will be really shaved off, like to the point where it would like just go like right here, you know? And I don't know particularly why they do that, to the point where like the crosswalk is like, you know, sometimes 20 meters back from the actual intersection. Anyway, so that was sort of reminding me of that. And then of course the river in the center, also very sort of similar topography, but to also give you some degree of like landmark, there, it's down the street from I'm meeting a buddy in Bangkok, and it's down the street from a temple. Yeah, that was shocker. Anyway, this one is what? Mahanapanam Wadawidan. I believe that's the best I can do as far as ignorance and pronunciation, but and they're doing some work on it. So yeah, I mean, it's not just like the infrastructure. I mean, I've actually seen a lot of work going on temples during the COVID, and you know, again, I just sort of label that as taking advantage of the current situation, because I mean, again, a temple isn't necessarily going to be, you know, really populated by foreign tourists, unless of course it's like, you know, Wat Po or something like that. You know, so it's not like the Thais aren't going to temple, but again, it's good that they're taking this time to, you know, fix things up, basically. Oh my God, look, a 7-Eleven. I may actually just go get something to drink, and then go meet my buddy Eric. Go meet Eric over at Chef Bing and the Mighty New York Pizza. I'm here for some New York pizza, and I'm gonna wait till my buddy Eric gets here, and then we're gonna go inside and have some food. So with that, it's Mike from LiveMyAssOff.com saying I hope you're living the dream. Because if you're not living the dream, there's a high likelihood that you don't have a friend that you can basically text in the middle of the night and say, dude, I need some pizza. Bam. Play date set up. It's happening. Talk to you guys soon. Ciao.